Ahoy! Yeah, I'd like to share with you today a few things to keep in mind when cruising Hampton Roads. I went out for a day sail, about a week ago, and now I know the area is going to have a lot of commercial traffic. Shipping vessels, tugboats, warships, but I didn't realize just how busy it really is down in this area. So you've got to be alert. Somebody's got to be on watch all the time for all of the, and that's not counting the recreational guys like us and the fishing boats that are out there, recreational fishing boats. So that's number one. Just keep an eye out for all of the traffic. And another thing, and I've always known, hopefully you guys know, you don't sail right in the channel. You sail just outside the channel. Well, I usually try to stay at least 1,000 to 1,500 feet away. I tell you what, down here, that's not enough. I mean, here you can see this container ship coming by, and I saw way out there, I could see he was pushing a big wake. So I immediately got the engine started. I was way too close. Like I said, maybe 1,000, 1,500 feet. By the time he got to me and I had the engine started, I already started backing and getting away from it a little bit. But you can't outrun that. So, I came into it on a 45, close to that. Went up, came down, buried the bow. Now I wasn't going to pitch pole, but, and then came back up again. So I recommend try to stay at least a quarter of a nautical mile away. Because after that guy went by, kind of learned my lesson, I moved away. Very shortly after that, I had another shipping vessel come by. Same thing. I could see the wake, but I was far enough away that when I turned into it, it was just kind of up, down, up, down. I didn't bury the bow of the boat. I was far enough away. So that's the next thing is stay pretty clear of the channel. And when you look at the charts, it's a nice big open area. But there are some very shallow spots. Most of the time, it's not going to be an issue. Some of them are like closer to the inlets, like around York River and Mobjack Bay. There's fingers that come out there, and even on the side, the south side, there are some nice big areas, but then there's some 5 and 4 foot areas. So be aware of those, and they sneak up on you pretty quick. Another thing that happens here, and I've noticed that quite frequently, the weather changes really quick. I know the weather changes quick everywhere, but down here with the ocean so close, it really changes. And the winds can pick up dramatically. Like the other day when I went out on that day sail, went an hour and a half, almost made it to the ocean. But then I decided I'd turn around because the winds were starting to pick up a little bit. And when I turned around, I had the winds against me, bringing up some whitecaps. When I went out, the winds weren't even 10 knots. Well, you can see here, it was flat. It was beautiful. And I was going 4.5 knots. But also, I had a little bit of wind behind me, and I was going with the current. And that's another thing. The current here can run almost 2 knots, maybe better. And that's not counting the wind. So if you're going with the current and there's a wind, you might be going 3 knots just over ground with current and wind. So when I turned around, what took me an hour and a half to get out to, took me over 3 hours to get back. So be aware of that. Be aware of the currents, the winds, and the ever-changing weather. But that's really, those are the key things to keep in mind. And I've noticed too, when looking for anchorages, I find a lot more protected anchorages on the western shore than on the eastern shore. Not a lot over there. Even when you get down into the Norfolk area, the hospital area there where there's a anchorage, and then there's another area just up from that. Those really aren't that well protected. I mean, they're good holding areas. A lot of people anchor there waiting to go south. It's just that you're open to wakes from ships coming and going. Now, down in that area, the ships aren't going as fast, especially when they're heading out to the ocean. They start picking up some speed, and they're moving, and they're pushing a good wake. But I like the area because you can pretty well depend on there's going to be some wind for sailing. Maybe sometimes a little too much, at times not enough. But overall, the weather down here for sailing is very pleasant. Well, until next time, guys, happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends.